ani adane kakra se wote ya ase yi free studio kakra na ya baha ye ndandemu na enche mejidi ese bi afie akine ko no se nyame ye adoma bibia be hyase wo ha kosi se bosome no ebekọ na wiye eba ne saa mpacho enye ejane na yedi nsu aguso fa be woso no from yawada ekono eni be dane kakra eni be dane kakra timi pesa me bo nkai answer na ankaso captain one country ti eni no be dane kakra ye be ka Ghana niam ayira ho asem it's yawada no Michelle Bo last year said $600 million a year every year ewo Ghana no yawada na me yes story no nti afibia no $600 million a year from the Ministry of Finance every year abaye culture akaho ayi kwasibotwe onim setepe onim kwabnadofo onim kanoforiata onim se eyira da ti nyame ya adoma yawada I will show you evidence miensa every year biano Ghana Ministry of Finance says $600 million what show me books so mu 2 years later no so mahu scarlet me yira 2 years no masenhu enti nyame ya adoma no eye yawada ti me bo nkae preko se mentimi anwie a ye beto aso efiada na afei yakohwe ye tie factory na menim de se Kwame Nkrumah starte electrical cables factory ewo Ghana aka nwuram ewo mankasim ti ye be chew eno nso ye wie tie na ye be kwa rubber factory ho ti Ghana ye japade a ayire nyina Movenpick e Ghana dia sa hotel na ni din the Ambassador Hotel document na Diversity Implementation Committee mpacho ma menka mo musimu ewo me ho wani document no ewo me ho omo se ayira eti ye nim nipa ye ton Ambassador Hotel man na enda be Movenpick no Ghana nim ti nipa ko no wantuaka eti ye de no so be ko ene ye nema ayira nyina no so the show from Nyamiya Adoma Yawada no eye Ghana proper. That's it. Eno da nchen a echira na yebe bie National Cathedral na no Nyamiya Adoma yesi awie efe pa. Obron sama boa ye me yesi amena na wie. Eti Kenoforiata Kachere say on the 6th of March 2024 when yebe bie ano na 7th January 2025 mampania ebenya na Ghana hano ya swear in ti baumia ana mahama wa ba wen wo begina menanim ma finance Ivan kanso na kofi ewa ha yebenya ye independent meaning if we are Sa question we system match be na fifth match be bisa. Are we truly independent?
Yes. Captain, the can venture what here for. Na me mama ba so say mo take Ghana man to a different level because oba had now share design and near my mind na this is truly Ghanaian. And the question as to whether say we are truly independent or not. Now I think say enye ya yeti hai and na yebeka. Obi a owo Ghana and people who have been saying observing happenings in Ghana in your state because I hear where we started from in the sub-Saharan Africa, the first country to badge independence. A few years after, we were able to empower other African states to become independent. And Nkrumah independence, it wasn't just about political independence. Ghana didn't hokeke. But he was also seeking some form of economic independence. Be the average and the ordinary Ghanaian, abaye self-sufficient, abaye empowered. Na Ghana, Nankasa, and Africa, abedin ho. abaye self-sufficient. Na say you do that particular stage na and you betimi catch there who say indeed we are truly independent. And if you have a bit starting from here, now the kind of vision na nkroma wo na ideas. Last time I catch there obi say we had this industrialization drive start here on nkroma timer. He realized say Ghana betimi adi a e was set ya nkasa ye be self-reliant na neman kitenkiti bi wo ha ya nkasa betimi a produce e wo ha na ye produce na ebe ma ye nya ye nkrofo nya adwuma ye na sika ye science sa kwa ma no ne se ye kokra neman sa neman nyina eso bete ere na ye one of the ideas a ema tema ebe ye an industrial city a o create ye ne modern politicians have turned the place into a residential area okwa ye ku ye ho for land, a portion of land. But Nkrumah could have owned the entire place, but he decided said no, let us turn this place into an industrial hub of Ghana, industrial city, and you shall see setting up factories and industries, not just Tema but other places. And other initiative for the buyer clearly natural say na Ghana we were moving in a positive direction. And even around that particular time na say abajimi mreno, you remember say na Ghana ya asambo cars wa ha. So if 50 60 years after your politicians take the stage and they convince us say yeah asambo Toyota and other vehicles, these are things that 50 years ago and Nkrumah time na and other nearma or ye clearly actually say indeed na Ghana pace na ye zoom no na ye be enviable nation as be other countries who Ghana as a model. And so here democracy then as for until that unfortunate day Nkrumah was overthrown by certain Onua me use in the west I would say traitors and certain element with certain external forces ye too no call. And since then politics we assemble few greedy people in the name of politics. They come capture political power, and all that they do is to plunder this particular state. And it's very easy. So be by a politician and they take it to wealth, all of a sudden, and we are not able to ask why Nipa that particular sika because Obia is not answerable to Obi, and consistently the youth and the young people in the country deserve better life, deserve certain economic empowerment, they end up desperate and they are the veil of desperation is quite apparent, it's obvious. And now I make has a president ever Parliament, Abakan the State of the Nation address, and the ordinary Ghanaian are confronted with the daily realities of the economic hardship or Ghana. No, wouldn't wait for a president to come and tell him, say, Ghana. The desperation, is quite apparent, it's quite revealing, but so what we need are measures. I ever 67 years after this is the state of Ghana, and or minor, yes, started as a model, na amount for and Yadakam. We have become an embarrassment among member states in West Africa. Look at our debt portfolio and dollar rate and we've actually manufactured nothing because industries are now commercial say cables ties those days this and ya allow in import and amount for you connive with few people because we get money and they are importing virtually everything to this country. But I know that they almost sell it to Ghanaians and we are not creating any enviable opportunity. And then Ghana will be a so here economy and then the political system we are captain. Nobody is safe. Because our society, most of the youth are desperate, and nobody is thinking about creating incentive. President Kojina Parliament last week for 2 solid hours. He couldn't even say anything about the surging youth unemployment situation, the crisis that has a red fever pitch. In recent times, we've seen a lot of young people moving from TV station to TV station, asking, say, government should put up initiatives. There nothing is being done. So what's your mind when a majority of the youth near Jumaya a threaten national security, a threaten your social cohesion, but a threaten everything because young man only nothing to lose, Captain. They become a cannon fodder in a social warfare between themselves and them in the immediate environment. That person can be enlisted to do a whole lot of stuff. So here the recent violent extremism cave in around the Sahel region in West Africa, the very people who are enlisted into some of these terrorist organizations are young people because They are desperate. They have absolutely nothing to do. They think that the state, they have no fair share. And the political establishment, instead of them to realize that no, baby or mine do no say or mine be dependent on the labor force which largely depend on young people, and that there is the need for us to be able to build the system. It will prioritize young people. System. A bit me, I deliver job for young people. Say or more ya or more dear mohono. Now or minus so baby because you can develop a country without labor force. That is why even America and other places where they've realized labor force, human resources, and age, they've gone to a different step. You import people from other countries to come and fill the gap. But what are we doing? Absolutely nothing. They don't even respect young people in this country. To the average politician in Ghana, they think young person is a tool, it's a commodity. In this whole political system, they can be used to achieve whatever that they want to achieve, or achieve you young person, and prioritize it. And that is the major problem too. And the poverty has become a multi-billion industry in our part of the world. We are young person, so we have access to world capital unless maybe you want to be corrupt or you want to engage in other shady activities. But to sit down and say, may set it up company on my own, may start in America, young people start, and at the end of the day, there are enough incentive. We have such systems here. Even those agencies are created under various modules like YEA, yes, and then as a former. Lot of political slogans go into these are virtually extension of political party offices where we attempt to siphon money from mainstream politics to private pockets. Because individuals now call for primaries this year, you know that they are heads of these institutions. But the very people they are supposed to provide job for, none of them ena juma krombenya bi me say ga juma no mo ye dia ma party boys kura na say party boys ebenya secure job after all they are not Chinese, they are Ghanaians, but those so called party boys na ya enlist or more e dem go good those offices nobody is giving them any job to do. So I know the day sad desperation na egusu na here. So young people and priority of government. That is why President Bukako Jinaho Asebi in his address for almost 2 solid hours, one country yamfa again issue of political corruption and the bane towards our effort to progress as a nation. Politics now anybody or at all be taking the center stage suddenly become fabulously rich. At the end of the day, obiam biso obiashe. Bisa say deterrence be na set in a system because my culture say a state. The very moment a state begin to show weakness, and as you begin to show mercy, that nation is done. Because people will capitalize on that particular fact. That's right. And for that matter, they will plague the nation. So as a state, we need to take a stance. Now you're making sure, we are not going to allow people to take this nation for granted. But we've created a system motivating people to steal, motivating people to do the excesses, and at the end of the day, nobody does a thing about it. So I am saying, until we as a people better realize there is the need for us to come together and stop what is happening. The loot, the rot, you better take certain measures now you're ending. This country, you hope is you better get somewhere. The captain, we will get virtually nowhere. So young people must rise and take the center stage. Like I said, we can't be idle in this whole political way because what Tanaseka said, you belong to the future. That future is never coming. Because that future is being mortgaged by a few greedy guys who have captured political power and they are using it for their own personal whatever. And we need to rise and be active participants in this whole political discourse. Now you realize we playing determine the kind of future we are waiting for. We cannot be mere tools. We cannot be mere consumers of political. Your friend is saying, but we must be active participants. In doing so, we need to be very rational. We need to be very wise because you invest too much of emotions, too much of tribalism, too much of this ethnocentric supremacy ideology. The very moment we invest in politics, because you will not be rational to be able to sit down and do critical analysis and ask me, Kofi, I am president. Is he really doing it? But if it is about the kind of unholy relationship I have with Kofi, and because we have that ties, or the bonnie mean to me, Captain Smart, Madame for, or in Semuna mean to me, for that matter. And at the end of the day, by the time I be realizing, that is why 67 years after, Ghana, how far have we come? Industrialization drive now there is absolutely nothing I am celebrating. I am proud of, and I am very sure countries out there, our neighbors like Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, and other countries almost saw Ghana as a fledgling democracy about 50 years ago, no? And then they will all be disappointed because there is absolutely nothing. Because Ghana, they come and declare bankruptcy. Domestically, people who have invested their money in government, say government, those people, government have come to them and said, no, we are doing domestic debt restructuring as a result of somebody's recklessness, because of somebody's incompetence. And these people are not even willing to accept the responsibility. Because if you go in and ask yourself, how did we get here? Then you find the answer of the cathedral will come in. A certain crazy person sat down and says, or ne nyankopon akasa na o say obesi dan ma nyankopon. Na captain enye dama. What's nyankopon boss obesi dan ya? Wo do sika na si. One for my sika nkosi dan. When the people in the country have not come to a consensus say they need a cathedral. Wo na wo say wakose nyankopon bo. So for usika kokosi. But for whatever reason, yen nyina ya push yen and they enlisted so-called men of God sabi omodi nyankopon kata omoni. And they know very well, say, if you go to villages, the kind of challenges and troubles young people are going through, there are Ghanaians who travel through Libya, Italy. I met a young man who recently returned from Italy. Now, maybe say, why will you take such a dangerous risk? Or say, but because if you are nobody respects him because and that is okay for him. But these are people with immense and elsewhere. He has become self-sufficient. So I think we need to do a lot.